The contrast between Chinese-American Winter Olympians Eileen Gu and Alyssa Liu is sparking discussions about money and principles. Joining us now is someone who's made a name for himself, standing up for principles over fame and gain, and is Kאנטר Pridom, former NBA star and leading activist for human rights around the world. And as thank you so much for joining us. Great to see you again. Now, a lot of focus on the two Chinese Americans at the Winter Olympics and the different paths they've taken, one representing communist China, the other America, despite China trying to recruit her. Now, you've also weighed in on this. Why do you think this contrast is getting so much traction?
Well, thank you for having me first. And second, this story resonates because it is bigger than sports. It is about value, it is about identity, what freedom means in a world where authoritarian regimes are trying to expand influence. And, you have one athlete representing the United States, a country built on liberty, freedom, and individual rights, and another competing for a government that tightly controls speech, media, and dissent, and literally tortures his own people. So people are not debating talent. They are debating principles. And in a time of rising global tension, these choices feel symbolic. So they force a broader conversation about whether success should be measured purely in medals and money, or also in the values we represent on a world stage.
And what does this tell us about the Chinese regime's MO?
The Chinese government understands the power of symbolism. It uses celebrities, sports, and global events to project an image of legitimacy and strength. Recruiting internationally recognized athletes, is not just about competition, it is about soft power. And propaganda value and shaping global perception. Financial incentives and market access are powerful tools in that strategy. So this does not diminish the athletes' hard work, but it reveals how the regime blends prestige, economics, and national messaging and advances influence. So it is a strategic playbook designed to win and admiration abroad while suppressing dissent at home.
And as in many ways, the story of these two Winter Olympians mirrors your own personal story. You famously spoke up against the Chinese regime's persecution of Uyghur Muslims at great risk to your professional career. Talk to us about what that cost you professionally and why you chose to do it anyway.
Speaking out came with real consequences, especially when I wanted to speak up about all the China's human rights violations. I lost endorsement deals, business ties disappeared. I played basketball in NBA for 11 years, and I was healthy. I could have competed another 5-6 years, and unfortunately, because of the relationship between NBA and China, they said enough is enough, and unfortunately, they blackballed me. And broadcast opportunities shrank, and I faced threats, and everybody knows about this. I was doing a hearing in the Congress with Foreign Affairs, and I asked one simple question. I was like, how can the biggest dictatorship in the world, China, can control a 100% made American organization like the NBA and fire a U.S. citizen? And unfortunately, they did not answer. They couldn't answer. When you learn about forced labor, mass detention, organ harvesting, religious persecution, you cannot claim ignorance. Freedom is not meaningful if you only defend it when it's convenient. I chose to speak up because human dignity matters more than contracts and more than any kind of endorsement deals, because using your platform for truth is more important than protecting your comfort.